back to Beyond the Veil Tarot and Astrology. My name is Candice Marie. Thanks for joining me. I'll be your astrologer today. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy Thursday. We are back at it with another video. We're going to be taking a look at this up and coming full moon in Sagittarius. If you guys like my content, you want to see more of it, click the bell button below, subscribe to the channel, support me as a full-time content creator, and give me a thumbs up. Sharing is caring. Make sure you share this video out to other astrology enthusiasts and let them know just how darn positive this full moon is going to be. So excited to talk to you guys about this. I know you guys are like, wait, it's the new moon. I'm getting into the habit of putting these out when we're like ahead of schedule with the lunation. So some of you guys who are watching this on Thursday, yes, you guys are experiencing the new moon in Taurus. This is going to be the full moon in Sagittarius, just for clarity's sake. So we've got this full moon that's going to be coming in on May 23rd, 2024. And it is extra sweet. This is probably one of the most spectacular full moons all year, the most abundant, the most positive in true Sagittarian style. Now, a little bit about the full moon in Sag. So we see a full moon every 28 days. This is a natural kind of completion. You're going to want to think back to the intentions that were being set in Sagittarius season of 2023 when we had a new moon in Sag. Now, like I said, May 23rd, it looks like it's going to be happening Central Time right around 8:53 a.m. So that's going to be rather early for those of you guys on the West Coast. Sometime around 6:54 a.m. and 9:54 or 53 a.m. actually Eastern time on the East Coast. I know we've got people watching all over the world, so adjust your time zones accordingly. But this is definitely going to be a full moon that you want to make the most of. So a little bit about this. We're going to be seeing the full moon taking place at 2 degrees of Sagittarius. So if you have any placements from 0 to 4 degrees of Sagittarius, it's extra kind of important for you because it's going to be taking place in conjunction to those degrees. Sagittarius, sun, moon, rising, or personal planets there, you will be impacted by this the most. And a full moon in Sagittarius is an event basically that's bringing about some kind of highlighted themes pertaining to Sagittarius things. Full moons are always when we see the moon in opposition to the sun in its opposite sign. So we've got this sun that's now in Gemini. Gemini season will be beginning. And it's going to be a time where I think, full moons bring heightened emotions, intuition, and potential for significant growth or realization of some kind of completion. Now, Sagittarius is the 9th sign of the zodiac. It is a fire sign, which is mutable. It's ruled by Jupiter, and it's known for its adventurous spirit, optimism, and also love for freedom and exploration. So a full moon here is going to bring about a time where we're asked to expand our perspective and engage in philosophical discussions and connect with the world in a much broader way. I think when we have a full moon in Sagittarius, I think it's a time where it's really highlighting the need for honesty and truth seeking, something that can be kind of hard to find in today's age. But I'm a little bit optimistic about this full moon because I feel like we're combining the emotional nature of the moon with also the intuitive aspects of the moon and Jupiter's blessing when we see this full moon come through. So I think these are the themes that are going to be at the forefront, urging all of us on an individual level to express our deepest truths and embrace our personal philosophies. It's a time for learning, teaching, sharing, exploring, and deepening our knowledge about the world. I also feel like Sagittarius is known for its good humor, its sense of optimism and good fortune because it's ruled by Jupiter. So likely you guys are going to be more positive and more optimistic about the future, where we're going, and really be looking at this as a time of growth and truth seeking and embracing all of the good things that are coming from this extra sweet Jupiter-Venus conjunction. So this is going to be taking place at 2 degrees. So 2 always has kind of a connection to Taurus. It's going to be about food, money, resources, banking. I think we're going to be hearing more about what's going on with global economics and just overall sense of our resources. That's a huge theme that comes up with 2. And I'd like to read to you guys the Sabian symbol for this particular full moon. So whenever we're looking at the Sabian symbols, we always round up. So this is 2 degrees and 55 minutes. So we're going to read the Sabian symbol for 3 degrees of Sagittarius. Let's see, let's find this. All right, so those of you guys who have the Sabian Symbols book, page 277, if you don't, check out the links in the description below. I give you my Amazon book list, all the books and the decks that I use on the channel, I reference, and many more. So Sagittarius 3, 2 men playing chess. The theme is Battle of the Minds. The symbol speaks to the extraordinary competency and to the mastery as it is achieved through mental discipline, imagination, and the ability to profit or learn from experience. The image of 2 men playing chess dramatizes intellectual competition at its height, and it highlights the importance of strategy and long-range planning. Here, there is a necessity for patience, sustained concentration, and the ability to predict the moves of the other fellow and think before acting. Here is an emphasis on being able to respond effectively and forcefully when the unexpected occurs. The goal in chess is to limit the king or highest authority figure by blocking every move he could possibly make. The suggestion here is that a potential loss of freedom is at stake. Watch for, at its highest, the symbol represents unusual intelligence, keen insight, and a love for mental challenge. Watch for psychological one-upmanship or a lack of cooperation. The accent is on strategy, planning your moves wisely before you make them. Your greatest advantage lies in knowing the habits and behavior patterns of those you're dealing with. Be patient to make short-term sacrifices for a long-term gain. Have a plan. Guard against leaving yourself wide open to attack or letting yourself be rushed into making a foolish mistake. Don't hurt your chances of success by exposing your hand too soon. Stepping stones are strategy, tactics, competition, rivalry, contest, tournament, long-range planning, study, mental acuity, concentration, focus, and mastery. Well, I think after all, when you think of like chess, first of all, it's a very complex game to play. I've been learning over the last couple of years, and definitely it takes time, but the more that you play it, the more you start to learn that you have to be a couple steps ahead, right? So this is a full moon that's going to not necessarily be about immediate manifestation, but where you see yourself kind of going into the future. I think of the importance of just, strategy and foresight when it comes to what you're hoping to kind of bring in. Obviously learning to overcome challenges and kind of beat the odds. But I think Jupiter in this sense, with the conjunction to Venus, we're going to be more, I think, optimistic about the future and what we're able to build, acquire, or achieve. There's definitely a sense of also, I think in a broader sense, the need for cooperation in environments that can seem very competitive and learning to work together rather than against one another. And finding the balance between individual efforts and collective goals. But that whole, something being challenged. Hold on, I don't want to butcher my words here, but what did it say? Something being at stake. That kind of caught my eye, and I didn't even read this until just now. So the part that caught me was the suggestion here is that there's a potential loss of freedom at stake. Okay, so that's interesting. And like being several steps ahead and being like, oh, I think this might be happening. So how can I kind of position myself, right? So I am going to have better odds. Pretty timely in my opinion. So let's talk about why I think that. Well, when we look at a full moon, we always look at the ruler of the moon. So the full moon is going to be in Sag. The ruler is Jupiter. Jupiter is down here as a part of this stellium that's still kind of hanging around in Taurus. It's been building since early May as all these planets have been moving through the fixed sign of Taurus. So obviously there is a huge focus on material goods, resources, sustainability, food, money, banking. You're going to be hearing, as I'm recording this early in May, so I'm recording it before some of the Uranus conjunctions have happened, that this is going to be a primary focus at the end of the month. When I think of Taurus, it's also about what we possess, what we own, what we can buy, what we can eat. So these are going to be some global topics that we're going to be hearing around the time of this full moon. Now, Jupiter is in the 29th degree of Taurus. It's in the anaretic degree. This is that tipping point before a planet moves from one sign to the other, and it's embodying the totality of what the Taurus kind of theme has been with Jupiter in this sign for the last year. Now, Jupiter is, connecting to laws. It's connecting to global patterns. It also has connections to our beliefs, our philosophy. It can also be about, our global relations. Jupiter is in the sign of Taurus, which deals with banking, but also that conjunction to Venus, and Venus being the dispositor, I think is about our relationship to our resources, who we bank with, what we're buying, what we're consuming, what we're eating. And Jupiter Venus is like extra sweet, extra indulgent. In many ways, I see this as, like I said, one of the most beneficial full moons all year, because we see this conjunction. And at 29 degrees, that's a degree that deals with Leo. So it means lots of romance, lots of, opportunities for gambling. There can be big risk and there can be big reward. It can also be extremely fertile. So things that you've been working towards this last 6 months can finally start to come into full bloom. I'd like to read the 29th degree of Taurus. I wasn't planning on doing that, but I feel like there's a message there with that Sabian symbol getting hit. So that's going to be Taurus 30. Here we go. A peacock parading on ancient lawns. The keyword is aloofness. The theme is pride. The symbol speaks to pride and accomplishment and the importance of honoring and recognizing even the smallest achievement of an individual. The image of a peacock parading on ancient lawn is symbolic of representation of the collective ideals of others as manifested in one individual. The colorful display in the peacock is an attention-getting device that serves to encourage or motivate those individuals who haven't yet recognized the existence of greater values towards achievement, or at least the outer or superficial symbols of success. In modern times, the symbol might stand for carrot on the stick, or the clever marketing ploy. At its highest, it represents poise, presence, and a natural gift for dramatizing and exalting the highest and best society, astute historical insight, and the ability to profit from the failures of successes of others. Negative would be being pretentious, narcissistic, vain, social isolation, detachment, and hotness. The accent is on motivation. You may be encouraged and inspired by the achievements of others to do something to improve your position. Your greatest advantage lies in studying how others have succeeded. Develop a plan for accomplishing your objectives. Guard against offending others by appearing vain or trying to act superior. Avoid the temptation of boasting or gloating over your victories. It won't be appreciated. So pride, vanity, dignity, standing on tradition, drama, display. It's gaudy. It's a little gaudy, Jupiter Venus at this degree. It's look what I have. Look at all of what I've accumulated. And I really feel like even though this is such a sweet conjunction, and we see Venus conjunct Jupiter once a year, having Venus in her domicile is going to be positive. So we're going to see it being manifested as look what I've been able to build. But we want to play off of that Jupiter energy, right? Of it's not just about what do I have, but how can I teach somebody else how to do it themselves, how to also be successful, how to invest, how to grow a business, and teaching other people to invest in themselves. So, by sign, Sagittarius, quincunxes, Taurus, they don't really see eye to eye on things, right? There can be a sense of them being completely different than one another, not really sharing a lot in common. But in this situation, we're actually going to see there are two ruling planets coming together. For a lot of you guys, it's going to manifest as, I think, some opportunity to be better prepared. And in the process of being better prepared, I think it's going to be about being like, okay, I feel more secure. I feel rich in a sense of not necessarily having things, but having like a really healthy philosophy or faith or sense of self-awareness or, belief of myself. So it doesn't have to manifest in a physical, tangible way, although Taurus placements tend to do that. We're also seeing within about, 3 degrees, this opposes the moon. So the moon represents the emotional collective, where we're all at. when we have the moon in Sagittarius, we tend to be a little bit more optimistic, active, a little bit more feisty. And so the moon is opposing Jupiter and Venus and the sun. So it can also be this awareness of the what's out of balance, right? Like the stark contrast between, you know, the 1%ers and everybody else, or, you know, those who are making the rules, and it's, you know, rules for thee and not for me. So we can become more aware of where there is this, something that's like off kilter with people who are making the rules. Jupiter is about rules and laws. So with the sun and Jupiter and Venus in conjunction, you know, Venus is also combust with the sun. There can be this sense of this awareness that's like, whoa, hold on a second. Why is it that we're seeing so many people that are like flourishing, and then we're seeing people at the complete opposite end of the spectrum? And we're becoming more aware with that full moon that's going to be taking place. Now, likely we're going to be seeing certain markets are going to be booming while other things are breaking down. Certain countries are doing like well and they're flourishing in terms of their expansion, and other places are not. And we're going to be talking about how the change and the transformation of separate countries and how that's overall impacting the financial system, I think, is basically what's going to be coming up. But you'll hear other astrologers say to you, oh, Venus conjunct Jupiter, this is a full moon that's very romantic. Yes, I do think that. This is a full moon that also is very indulgent, because Venus conjunct Jupiter is the sweetest. It is the, like the most self-care. It's going to be about the most resources, what smells good, what feels good. It's very sensual with that conjunction as well. So if you're somebody who likes to work with the full moon, this would be a really good time, especially coming off of the new moon in Taurus, to be really looking at, okay, how is my abundance manifestations going? How are my, affirmations going? How am I feeling more confident and more solid in myself, and believing, right? After all, Jupiter is about belief, that I am good enough, I am worthy, I am beautiful, I am abundant. And seeing that kind of come full circle, not just since the new moon in Sag, but since this new moon in Taurus. So if you're watching this early, when we're coming into the new moon, you want to make sure you're doing those manifestations so you can reap some of the benefits of this when this conjunction happens. Expect some drama. 29 degrees is a Leo degree, so it can be drama. It can be things that there's some big news out in the world about drama relating to celebrities, or drama relating to, some really prestigious family, or some really, big financial matter. Because Taurus is connected to banking, I think we're going to be hearing more about how where there are international issues going on in other countries and the impact that that might be having on the New York Stock Exchange. This is kind of lighting that chart up in a very big way. And also how it's impacting everybody's resources. So some people may see this as an opportunity where they're actually saying, you know what, I feel like this is a good time to get in. Things are breaking down. Let me do that. Other people are going to be taking profits. And I've said in previous videos that I really thought that a lot of people were going to be taking profits in May before we kind of get into June, where I think, summer of 2024 is going to be a little rocky in the financial world. Just, that's my 2 cents. Anyway, so the other aspects that we're kind of like looking at, aside from, the opposition, I think a little bit more on the conjunction between Venus and Jupiter, I see this as putting an emphasis on love and relationships. So that will come up during this particular full moon. Yes, there can be increased harmony and, big completions or decisions being made in relationships. We could be deepening the bonds with our relationships to some people, really having a strong focus on appreciating the value and the beauty of the relationships in our life. Really practicing and having a sense of appreciation for what we do have, what we do possess, the people in our life, the relationships in our life, the roof over our head, having a home, having our health. That is going to be something else that we're going to be looking at as a sense of being wealthy. I think it's great for creativity and anything that is aesthetic. I think a lot of people are going to feel very inspired to express themselves creatively and surround themselves with beauty. So it's a great time for artistic endeavors, decorating your home, indulging in anything that's luxurious or kind of comfortable. I do think that with Jupiter conjunct Venus at 29, people are going to be like, you know what, let's splurge, let's buy the concert tickets, you know, let's go to the casino, like let's go out and have like a lavish date night. Like there is going to be a sense of wanting to do more, wanting to have more. Which leans into kind of the abundance and the prosperity side of that conjunction as well. So some people will experience increased wealth or opportunities for growth in their finances. And I don't think it's something that's just kind of showing up overnight because of the full moon. These are likely things that have been brewing for some time since, you know, Sagittarius season last year. Take time to enjoy simple pleasures during this full moon. I think this conjunction with Venus and Jupiter is about that. It's about being generous. It's about sharing, and whether that's information, if that's, you know, being more generous and giving somebody like a bigger tip, if that's giving a gift, if that's giving somebody flowers, baking a cake. You know, this conjunction is about sharing what you have with other people, helping other people experience the richness and the sweetness of life. But above all, watch for some significant personal growth. I think that's a huge theme with this conjunction. It's about increased self-worth, being more confident and optimistic about your abilities and also about your value. Now, outside of that conjunction, we're seeing a couple other things taking place here. We see that there is a sextile between the moon and Pluto. Which, you know, Pluto is now retrograde in Aquarius. It's an air element, so it's about intellect and information, and it's about the masses. So with the moon sextile Pluto, I see this as a powerful opportunity to manifest transformation. It's like, I believe I can make this change. I believe I'm capable. You know, it's meant to be empowering. And the sextile also can be about what we are releasing and letting go. Full moons are known for that. This is a time where it's like, okay, some conclusion is made, some big event happens, and then, you know, we see the turn of events, and it can be a natural completion for some. So we may see that whatever turn of events are going on out in the world, we're realizing and recognizing this may actually be a positive thing. And we're looking at things in a glass is half full kind of silver lining way with this particular full moon. We also see with when we have a sextile from the moon, that means we have a trine from the sun. So the sun is at 2 degrees of Gemini. It is communicative and chatty, and it's mobile. You know, whenever we see this full moon on this axis of Gemini and Sagittarius, it's always about travel, information. It's about education, law, international matters. So some things that are going to be going on in the world will be having big physical and financial implications, but the sun trine Pluto indicates that we are all able to share this information widely. You know, the sun in Gemini can be about social media platforms. It could be about emails, phone calls, text messages, meetings, connecting with your local community, and the power of information and sharing information. Now, all of these twos that are setting up, once again, are very much about money. It's very much about banking and resources. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here. Sorry, Sag, but that's what this is. I think we're going to be hearing so many people on a global stage be talking about the financial system and realistically whether or not it can continue the way that it's going. And if we continue to see the issues like we're having here in America, the impact of changes with the dollar and the effects that that might have on other economies. So with the sun trine Pluto, it's feeling empowered by this change, sharing the information about what's going on, where there is a bigger thing going on more than just what's happening in your community. There is huge waves of change and people learning and believing that they should have more, that they should feel safe, that they should feel more secure, that they should feel abundant. And it's about the connection that we have to Earth. Taurus is about the food that we grow. It's about the land that we live on. It's also about resources that stem from that land. So likely I think we're going to be hearing more revolving around laws and regulations connecting to protecting the environment. Now that sounds good. I'm all for protecting the environment. But Venus, Jupiter, Uranus seem to kind of indicate, whoa, it's going to cause increased rates for things. So energy might go up, land might be taxed more, traveling is going to become more expensive. We might be hearing more about inflation rates and things that are going on with inflation and how it's actually making prices rise. So I think that that is definitely a given. The Sun trine Pluto is just saying that we're not just seeing this in select areas. This is a global occurrence that's taking place at this point, and people are talking more about the value of money, what they have and what they need. Now, we do see we see the moon making an out of sign trine. So if you notice here, Sag 2-degree moon, it is trining by about a little over 2 degrees Neptune. So it's out of sign, so it's trining Neptune at 29 degrees, which is already kind of confusing and feeling like something is kind of spiraling out on its own. But this trine that we see between the moon and also Neptune is intuitive. It's dreamy, it's imaginative, it's compassionate, it's sensitive. So something about this full moon is also kind of harmonizing with Neptune, saying, you know what, we need to consider everybody collectively. We need to be aware of what's going on with this collectively. Now, Neptune in Pisces, we're going to hear more about immigration, more about what's going on also with like religious and cultural divide. Likely there is generally like big court decisions that we see around full moons in Sagittarius, or some major court case that generally comes up, or some big decision that's being made about something, and it is somehow tied to culture or religion, because that's really what Pisces and Sagittarius is all about. I would lean more into the compassionate, imaginative, creative side, trying to understand other people's perspectives. Full moons are oppositions, they're relational. We have to kind of see where the moon is, shining a light on the sun, and it's saying, hey, in order to better all come together, we have to be able to communicate. And we're stronger together, Sun trine Pluto, than we are apart. And so I think there's going to be collective moves to say, well, how can we make positive strides when it comes to the financial system? What do we need in order to feel safe and secure? Where do we as human beings need to feel like we have a better relationship with the earth? And also feel like we can have this connection to, I think our bare necessities, as weird as that sounds. It's about kind of simplifying things. When I look at this full moon, like I said, it's about being rich with what we already have, not necessarily striving for what we do not have. So take that for what it's worth. We've got Mars conjunct the North Node, which has been happening the days leading up to this full moon. It's been like Mars on steroids, lots of stamina, willingness to get started. It also is very much about conflict and agitation and aggression. If you guys look at where the conjunction started, it started at 14 degrees, which was also a Taurus degree. So this 14 degrees, it keeps repeating itself over and over. It's all about resources, possessions, materials. I'll read to you guys the degree theory on Taurus. So anytime you see anything at 2 degrees, 14, or 26, this is a Taurus degree. So right here, so this is a couple days prior, but it's still within range when we have the full moon. So Taurus degrees are about money, wallets, things because of money, banks, bank employees, in the bank economies or bankers, villages, farms, or countries of origin, food, kitchens, things that are fat, greasy, nature, forest, meadow, parks, biology, throat, neck, vocal cords, to swallow, to grow or raise, to have, possess, or what's mine, right, Taurus. The color green, or singing, singers, or opera. Okay, so I think this is about people becoming more entrepreneurial. I think this is about people becoming more agitated and aggravated, but also more driven and motivated to be like, I'm gonna go after what's mine, or I'm gonna focus more on having what I need to feel safe and secure. Now, this can be positive because it can make people feel more productive and more wanting to go after their dreams, right? Venus, Jupiter can be about what you're hoping to kind of like achieve, what you're hoping to receive. But it can also put people in a position where, yeah, they can get like really agitated, really combative. You know, it can be indicative of some kind of war conflict that's brewing, which then I think around the full moon can show where there can be spikes in certain materials or things that become very expensive because of that conflict that can be taking place in another country. So use this more for being like, yes, I can make it happen. I am capable. Less about, you know, being able to get agitated and fighting with people about stuff, or fighting over religion, fighting over politics. I could definitely see that happening for sure. Because the full moon in Sag is about feeling very outspoken about your beliefs, your philosophy about the world. And like I said, everything is going to be about money, like resources, land, farmers. We might be hearing more laws about farming and agriculture that may come through. Because that's kind of like the archetype of Taurus, you know? So that's basically how I see this playing out. No real aspects taking place with Saturn. Let's go back to the full moon here. There we go. No real aspects with Saturn. We do see that Mercury is starting to build into a sextile. So it is kind of saying if we're aware of our limits, if we're aware of what we need to let go of, it can help us better strategize and plan and build something new. I have a feeling that this is going to get interesting down the road. So it's like this full moon may play out for about 2 days. As you watch the full moon continue to grow, I guess darken, as the moon is going to start coming into a square with Saturn the next day. Okay, so that's going to talk about the delays, the hang-ups, the limitations. And Sagittarius does deal with like international travel, colleges, you know, teachers, educators, things like that. And then we're going to start to see the moon come into a square with Neptune 2 days later. So until the moon leaves Sagittarius, we're in the full moon energy. So it's going to be about 2 days of being like, this thing happened. And, you know, this is where everybody's kind of like, okay, what's going to happen next? You know? So that's kind of like how I see this. Now, in terms of ways to work with this full moon, to ritualize this full moon, I recommend going on an adventure. Okay, so this can be literally booking a trip and deciding you're going somewhere, or maybe you are traveling during this time, but it could also be about getting outdoors and doing something adventurous, taking a different hiking path, you know, going to a different part of, you know, a park that you've never been to. Sagittarius is all about getting outside of your comfort zone. So I encourage you guys to explore adventure, you know, taking your ritual outdoors, go for a hike or a walk in nature, or simply spend some time under the sky to connect to the energy of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a fire sign too, so I recommend working with fire. Obviously, be careful, but work with fire in a way that you're honoring some kind of completion, or maybe you're practicing gratitude, or maybe you're writing a list of all of the things that you are hoping to achieve or desire, and then you burn it. This would be a wonderful way to work with the full moon. You can have a bonfire or light candles to symbolize illumination and transformation in your life. Personally, I would recommend just writing your wish down and, you know, like burning it and like letting it go, because this is symbolic of like sending that out into, you know, into the ethers. You can also work with burning herbs as well, because you see Jupiter is conjunct Venus. So that can be a really wonderful way to also work with that. You can use Jupiter herbs, or you can use Taurus herbs, either way. This would also be a good moon for like journaling or reflection, because the sun is in Gemini and it opposes the moon in Sag. So, you know, this connection with Sagittarius and higher learning and philosophy is really strong during the full moon. So it can be a good time to sit down and like journal about your beliefs or your dreams or your aspirations, reflect on how you can expand your mind and broaden your horizons. It can also be a time where you're going back through old journals and you're seeing how much progress you made and how you've grown. For those of you guys who can't travel, maybe do some travel visualizations. Close your eyes and visualize yourself embarking on a journey to a place you've always wanted to visit. Feel the excitement and freedom of exploration as you imagine this journey in vivid detail. Maybe you're planning a trip and you want to go and do research or learn more about a place that you want to visit, or create a vision board for where you're hoping to travel later this year. I think it's a really great time also to get a reading because of that connection with Sagittarius, which can be about your beliefs and your philosophy. And it can be a great time to like work with somebody who practices divination, or a teacher or a mentor. You could get lots of insights during the time of the full moon, and it can be really beneficial and influential on your perspective about life. And I would recommend focusing on questions related to expansion and truth. My favorite also for full moons in Sagittarius, but especially with Venus conjunct Jupiter, this is a really good time to be focusing on gratitude rituals. Like I said, a little bit of gratitude is going to get you guys a long way. So if you can sit and be thankful for what you already have, you may be surprised what else the universe blesses you with. You can also sit down and write a list of things that you're thankful for that you have not received yet. With Venus conjunct Jupiter, things may manifest in physical form, like with a blink of an eye. So if you're hoping to, achieve more resources, or if you're hoping to get a raise, or if you're wanting to have better health, I would be like, I am so thankful for my health, or I'm so thankful for the bonus, or the raise that I got, or I'm so thankful for the new job I got, or I'm so thankful for the bigger apartment. And really practice that sense of gratitude in the right now, because it can help, with wish granting. And also anything that is about giving back, because Jupiter is very generous. So I would really recommend considering volunteering your time or resources to a cause that aligns with your values. Really embodying the Sagittarius spirit of generosity would be a wonderful thing to do during the full moon as well. Now, if you like to work with stones during this particular full moon, my favorite go-to stone for Sagittarius full moon is turquoise, because it's known for enhancing communication and balance, and it's considered a lucky stone for Sagittarius. So you can carry that in your pocket, put it in your backpack, put it in your purse. You can wear a piece of jewelry with turquoise. It'd be a wonderful time to do that. But you can also work with blue topaz, because that's also considered birthstone for Sag. Great for communication and clarity, and also promoting joy, which is what Sagittarius wants to do. I would use lapis, which is great for intuition, citrine, which is great for abundance and positivity, or black tourmaline if you feel like it's just too much Jupiter energy, too over the top, and you need to be grounded. This can be really wonderful for staying focused and balanced when it comes to protecting your energies and pursuing your goals. Now, if you want to burn incense, or if you want to work with certain essential oils connected to Sagittarius, I would recommend using sandalwood, because it's grounding and it's going to help maintain balance and focus, which we might feel like we lack a little bit of during this full moon. You can also use frankincense, which I think would be really good for creating a sense of spiritual awareness and peace. Or cinnamon, which is really good for stimulating energy and enthusiasm, and it's a really good money herb. But if you want herbs specifically that are going to be connected to Jupiter, I recommend working with lemon balm. I think that's probably the best thing that you can use personally. Jasmine is another one that you can use, and ashwagandha is also really great for working with Jupiter or Sagittarius energy as well. So what do you guys think? How are you feeling about this incoming full moon? Are you as optimistic about it as I am? I hope you guys are, because it looks like extra sweet for everybody, and I'm really excited to see what physically manifests. Let's take a look at what happened with the new moon that we had last year, just to give you guys like a refresher of what was going on and what you were setting intentions for. All right, so we had on December 12th, 2023, we had a new moon in Sagittarius. It looks like this was at 20 degrees. And when it happened, Jupiter was retrograde, so we weren't really like feeling the abundance quite yet. It was in Taurus, and it was in opposition to Venus. So there was this sense of longing for something that we wanted. We also saw that this new moon was slightly in a square to Neptune. So there is this sense of, what do I believe in? Where am I going? What is my purpose? Like, what am I supposed to be doing here? So maybe last year there was this sense of going, okay, it's time for me to start searching or exploring or learning, going back to school, finding a teacher, a mentor, really focusing on, your belief or your philosophy. So now you're kind of seeing it come full circle. So I'd like to talk to you guys about where this is going to be taking place for each and every one of the 12 rising signs. I want you guys to listen for your rising, sun, and moon sign. Just as a reminder, I am a Western astrologer. I practice Western tropical astrology, not Vedic astrology. I recommend listening for your rising sign, and I'll be using the whole sign method. If you're a Placidus user like me, you want to look at where 2 degrees of Sagittarius is in your chart. But the good news is, because it's such an early degree in Sagittarius, whole sign is going to be accurate for most people. So you can listen to that. If this doesn't make sense, go and check out a birth chart calculator online. You can use like astro.com, put in your time, date of birth, and location, and cast your chart. Look at the 9 o'clock hour. That's your rising sign. Now go and find Sagittarius in your chart. That house is where you're going to be having the full moon. Look for where you have 2, I would say 0 to 4 degrees of Sagittarius if you have personal placements or progressed placements, and it'll be impacting you guys the most. Equally, I really recommend paying attention and listening to where the Jupiter-Venus conjunction is taking place, because that particular house is where you're receiving the goodies from. So even though you're having a full moon in Sag, the sweetness is actually coming from the Taurus area of your chart. And you guys know me, I'm going to give you some tarot as well, so you know what the tarot says in terms of what's going on for you with this full moon. So for Aries and Aries rising, you're going to be doing this full moon in Sagittarius in your 9th house. So number 1, it's a fellow sister fire sign. So if you're an early degree Aries sun, moon, or rising, within like the first 4 degrees, you'll be experiencing a trine to your placements. Fire trines are active, they're creative, and it's going to bring you some kind of adventurous spirit, fun, opportunity. It's positive for you. So you're going to be doing the full moon here. So basically what this means is with the full moon in the 9th house, like there is this sense of being very eager to explore new horizons. You may be reevaluating your beliefs and seeking a greater sense of purpose. A full moon here may mean that there is a trip that you're going on or completing. It may mean that you're graduating. It may mean that there's like a new teacher or a mentor in your life. Now, the Venus-Jupiter conjunction is happening for you in Taurus in your 2nd house, which means likely if you have Aries placement, there is a sense of really indulging, right? Having an indulgent vacation. Spending some money taking a course or a class, really investing in something connected to philosophy or law or publishing something. It could be that there's like a publishing check that comes in. It could mean that suddenly you're having to complete something that you're selling and you're having to pay money to kind of go and promote it and advertise it, but it ends up making you money. I think your perspective and your beliefs about resources are changing. I think there is a sense of feeling more optimistic and more abundant and really believing in yourself because that's taking place in your 2nd house. Venus is also connected to relationships. And so I do think that there is a sense of feeling a lot of sweetness and generosity with other people as well. There could be a turning point with your finances and you're kind of like, wow, I realize like I can do this, or it is possible, or, I am enough. And there's all this sweetness that's kind of rolling in through your 2nd house. So if you have some extra cash, you might be like, I'm booking a trip, or I'm going somewhere, or I'm on vacation and it's expensive. That could happen as well. All right, so let's see what the cards say for you, Aries, in terms of this full moon in the 9th house. The card that you get is the Queen of Swords. So this is about communication. This is about speaking, teaching, learning, mastering something. Pay attention. There could be like a Gemini, a Libra, or a Aquarius involved. There could be somebody coming in who's helping communicate something to you. It can be a time when you're speaking up and you're sharing something. You may be debating or sharing ideas with people about your belief system and being quite outspoken about it. And for some of you guys, especially if you're in education or publishing or writing, this can be a time when you're completing something and you're feeling like really optimistic about it, or you're making a big statement in some way, and like there is some excitement behind this because you're finally completing it. So good luck, Aries. I hope it's a good one for you guys. Now we've got Taurus and Taurus rising. You guys are going to be doing this full moon in Sagittarius in your natal 8th house. For you, Taurus, this is an interesting place because the 8th house is definitely about psychological changes. It's about healing, transformation. It's about things like taxes, joint resources, money in, money out, because it's in the 2nd, 8th house axis. So it's more financial for you guys than some other signs. Now, a full moon here could bring intense emotions that surface, especially regarding shared resources and intimacy. You may be reevaluating your deepest desires and seeking more meaning in your life. Now, here's the interesting part, Taurus. Even though you're having this full moon here where, okay, maybe you're, paying off a loan, or, you get a higher, credit limit, or maybe there is some change to your partner's resources, the Venus-Jupiter conjunction is in your sign. So really it says that you are responding differently to change. You are responding differently to endings and beginnings. Maybe it means that you're ending some kind of financial relationship. Maybe you're ending some kind of intimate relationship, but you're like, this is best for me. This is what I have to do emotionally or for my security. There can be this feeling with the moon in the 8th house of being like, this is uncomfortable. I don't like this. But you're also realizing that you need to make this change because it's going to be best for you personally overall. Jupiter is connected to the 8th house. Venus is connected to your 1st house and your 6th. So I could see this as some of you guys are having some major changes emotionally or psychologically relating to health and habits, and you're deciding to cut something out. It may be after a period of like there being a binge where there's been like a binge of sweets or a binge of shopping or something, and then this full moon hits and you get your bill and you're like, oh my God, I spent how much money? That can kind of happen here. But it's definitely about being open to making changes within yourself, okay? So the card that I get for you is the Knight of Coins. I think this is a financial message. That's what I think this is, because knights always have a message. They come bearing something. The good news is that the Knight of Coins, it can be you being cautious about an investment or making some kind of financial change. But it can also represent somebody bringing you news about something, and it can actually be quite positive. Recently, Venus has hit Uranus, and that can indicate that there's a change that you're going through. There's this huge transformation, physically, emotionally, psychologically, and like this can be that completion of being like, okay, I've finally broken away from things and I'm feeling healthier, more stable, more secure, right? But this can also be somebody who's relaying a message to you about banking and finances, so be mindful of that. Good luck, Taurus. We've got Gemini and Gemini rising. You'll be doing this full moon in Sagittarius in your 7th house. This is your opposite sign, so it is about relationships, okay? So for you, Gemini, relationships are going to be highlighted, both personal and professional. It could be a major focus for you right now. You may be seeking more freedom and excitement in your partnerships or considering new ways to collaborate with other people. Yes, truth be told, a full moon in the 7th house, it's more about others than it is about you. It can mean that if you have a spouse or a partner or a business partner or a client, they're going through some kind of significant change and you're just watching it happen. But it can also mean that this is a turning point where there is decisions to level up in a relationship, like become more committed, move in together, get married, or work with another person. Relationships that have been on the rocks, yes, there can be some challenges. You can finally complete something or say, you know what, I think we're good here. Jupiter will be in the 12th house and it will be conjunct Venus. So it is about karmic relationships, soulmate relationships. It is about endings of cycles, completing things. It's very likely that there can be changes that your partners are going through. It can be that you're traveling and you meet somebody. There can be some questions about a relationship, or you're feeling like you're in the dark and you're wondering what's going to happen. I think with like Venus being connected here to the 12th house and also the 5th, it can be about romance behind the scenes and some kind of love affair that's going on, and you're like, where is this going? What's going to happen? And it can be like extra sweet behind the scenes right now, and it may not become totally visible. So it really depends on what else you have going on in your chart. But I feel like with Venus's connection to the 5th, it can definitely be better to kind of keep some romantic kind of connections to yourself and be really indulging behind the scenes with another person. Let's take a look. The card that I get is the Empress. Okay, so this is about what's growing. What are we creating? How can we have more? The Empress is about, I think, like self-love and focusing on your needs. And this is about mothers and nurturing and strong women. Is it possible that, you know, there is more talks about, you know, these things with your family, talking to your mom about your relationship? Maybe it can be about how relationships going through some changes as, you know, becoming parents or dealing with like parent-related issues. But I feel like Venus and Jupiter in the 12th house is protected. Like there's something to this that makes me feel like even if you're going through a troubled spot in a relationship or trying to meet someone, you know, the Empress is basically saying putting yourself first, really doing a lot of work with Venus. Maybe you're going to be, you know, giving Venus an offering. I would definitely recommend that with these planets going through the 12th house. Find a Friday, put out some flowers, do something to ask Venus to kind of look over you as you're going through changes in your relationship department, or you're hoping to manifest and bring somebody new into your life. Good luck, Gemini. We've got Cancer and Cancer rising. You're going to be doing this full moon in Sagittarius in your natal 6th house. All right, Cancer. So for you guys, obviously you're ruled by the moon, so you're more so impacted by lunar transits. Having a full moon in your 6th house is going to be a completion relating to work, health, habits, or coworkers. Yes, pets can fall under this as well. So health and routine may need to be re-examined under this full moon. You may feel a strong urge to break free from limiting habits and embrace a much more adventurous approach to life. There is some resistance to wanting to just go to work and have the grind and do the same thing every day because Sagittarius doesn't want to do that. What's interesting is that, you know, you could get health results with this transit. You could see major changes, positive changes in your health as a result of making better decisions since the new moon last year. If you've been going to the gym or eating differently, or if you're on a new health regimen or medication, you can really start to see the positive effects of that. There can be jobs ending and jobs beginning. There can also be a strong connection because Jupiter is in your 11th house with Venus, where somebody at work can, you know, you can be developing a friendship with them, and like that's kind of blossoming and becoming sweet. It can mean that, you know, you have a friend that's offering you a job or saying, hey, come and work with me or come and collaborate with me because of Venus-Jupiter's conjunction in the 11th. It could be a woman because Venus is a woman, you know, who's basically saying to you, hey, you know, I've got this friend, she needs somebody, you know, do you want to work together? Likely, if you are dealing with a health matter or an issue with a coworker, you'll have support from some kind of a group that's going to be backing you up, or like they're going to be giving you feedback on how to better kind of deal with this situation. You know, Sagittarius is a sign that inconjuncts or quincunxes you, so it can bring up some emotions and some feelings for you. But with Venus and Jupiter sextiling your sign, I do feel like it's going to be a pretty stable one for you. I would just really recommend on paying attention to your habits. And also, if you have been waiting to get a job, this might be a time where you get, you know, a heads up, hey, you got the job, now you're joining this new group of people, right? Maybe you're really focused on your health and you want to get more active. And so you call a friend and say, hey, let's start working out together. Let's go for walks, or let's walk our dogs together. Something like that can happen. And you can meet a whole new community through focusing on your health habits here. All right, so this is for Cancer. Of course you get the moon card. It's basically saying something's coming out of left field. Something's going to be coming up that you don't see coming. And being that Venus and Jupiter are conjunct in the 11th, I think it's going to be some kind of goal that you're completing revolving around your health and your work. I think it's going to be being brought into some new community or some new group that you're going to be doing work with. And it may be people who are more artistic, more creative, more indulgent. It might be people who are on, you know, the higher end of society because of that Venus-Jupiter conjunction, that you're working with wealthier people, you're hanging out with, you know, more interesting artistic people. But the full moon says there, or the moon card says there's something that has not been shown to you yet. For some of you guys, it's just your goals revolving around your health, your routine, or your friendships. You're kind of formulating those goals and realizing what it is that you truly value. Good luck, Cancer. We've got Leo and Leo rising. You'll be doing this full moon in Sagittarius in your natal 5th house. If you have an early degree Leo rising, 0 to 4 degrees, you'll be experiencing a trine because Sagittarius is a fellow sister fire sign. So having a full moon in your 5th house should play really well with your sign. You're the only sign that's going to be experiencing a grand fire trine. So if you have a Leo sun, moon, or rising, it's playing off the energies with the North Node, Mars, Chiron, and also your sign. And this is going to create some kind of action or activity, which in theory should be actually really fun. Now, when you have a full moon in the 5th house, this is about romance. This is about creativity. This is about what you're creating. Likely you'll feel very inspired to pursue a creative project or complete one. You may be more willing to take a leap of faith when it comes to matters of the heart. Yes, 5th house can be, falling in love with someone or someone saying, I love you. 5th house can be about the launch of your own business, big events in the life of your children. Pregnancy can be happening here as well. If you're wanting to date or get back out there, this might be a time that you're doing it. This is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is in your 10th house of career and reputation, conjunct Venus. Those of you guys who are launching your own businesses, especially if you're like entrepreneurs or if you're working in the creative field or if you're doing anything connected to parties or bars or having fun or children, likely this is going to be a very successful time for your business. Because Venus and Jupiter coming together is about some kind of growth when it comes to your, your status out in the world and like people see you doing very well. So if that is the case, you might feel like, okay, things are going well. I want to enjoy myself. I want to go and have some fun, or I'm going to go to a concert, or I'm going to, go to a casino. These are kind of like 5th house things that you may potentially do. I like the full moons in the 5th house. Those are my favorite. So let's take a look. Let's see what the card says for you. You get the World card. That's like a completion on a completion. The World card is basically being about, okay, everything is coming through. You're finally reaching some sort of like completion to a cycle where you're no longer getting stuck in past patterns. So I really feel like this is about being your most creative, authentic self, putting it out into the world and being like, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing. Even if it's not career related, it can very much be related to your status and like telling people like, guess what, I'm a parent now, or I'm in love with this person, or look at this painting that I painted, like I'm giving you guys the green light to really put it out there and show people what you've been able to complete and what you've created. Enjoy that one, Leo. I think it's going to be a good one for you. We've got Virgo and Virgo rising. You'll be doing a full moon in Sagittarius in your natal 4th house. All right, so for you, my Virgos, just a heads up, maybe a little uncomfortable, especially, if you've got like an early Virgo rising. We've got the opposition to the sun and the square to the ascendant, and we've got planets also in Pisces. So we're going to see some like mutable grand cross energies for you guys that are playing out, which means you're changing, home's changing, relationships are changing, work is changing. This will be a theme for you all year as you see Jupiter go through Gemini. So you'll see what I'm talking about. But a full moon in the 4th house, Virgo, this brings changes generally to your home or your family life. Selling homes, moving home, visiting family, eruptions with roommates, changes that it's going on, for you in your private life. This can all happen here. But keep in mind that, Sagittarius is positive. These are good changes that are happening for you right now. So yes, you might feel a little restless and you might feel like you're in the need of a change of scenery or a new adventure maybe. So if you're feeling like stuck in the house or you're sick of being home, I think that this is a time where you can either rearrange furniture, consider a relocation or a move. It can also be a time where you're considering visiting family in another place, just to kind of like break things up a little bit. If you're needing to finish a home, you might do that at this time. If you're signing a lease, that can happen during this time as well. Now, Jupiter is the ruler of this full moon, and it's at the top part of your chart, conjunct Venus. So this is basically saying it's helping you get out of the house. It's helping you travel. It's helping you relocate. You're learning maybe more about your family history. This is also an opportunity to go and visit family in other places. You might be traveling to visit others. 9th house can be in-laws, so it can be that you're going to see in-laws or meeting, family members of your partner. And Jupiter also has a traditional connection to your 7th. So it can also be a time where, you know, you're traveling and then you meet someone, right? It can be a time also where, you know, if you are going through the Saturn stuff and you're in a relationship and it's breaking down and you're separating, then, you know, the full moon in the 4th can be endings of home situations, and Jupiter, Venus in the 9th can be having to pay for that. It can be, you know, legal fees and things like that. Overall, though, I really see this being a positive full moon for you. You know, I just feel like whenever you have the full moon that's happening in the 4th and the sun's in the 10th, you're being pulled between, you know, what's going on with your home, what's going on with your career. And I think that I would just pay attention to what happens the days following this full moon as you start to see the moon square planets in Pisces, because it's showing you like emotionally what's coming up for you, or what you need to kind of clear out of the past, or what's happening on the home front that needs to be dealt with before you make some of these bigger changes that are actually going to be taking place when it comes to your career, now that Jupiter is getting ready to move into your 10th house. Some of you guys are going to have more than one job, or you're going to be taking on a leadership position, or there's going to be some kind of growth in your business. So you really want to use this as the time to handle and deal with what's going on the home front, okay? Let's see what the cards say for you, my Virgos. I know a lot of my Virgo and Virgo risings are wrapping up like home renovations, or they're finally moving out of a place, or they're relocating to like another city or country. You guys get the death card. Okay, so in this case, I see the 4th house is ends of situations. It's about endings. And I'm looking at the moon sextile Pluto. So I really think that if it's not about physical changes in the home, it's about emotional changes and being more aware of like emotional habits and like what's not beneficial for you, like what emotional habits you need to deal with, what you need to close and let go of. Yeah, if you're in a situation where you're like, okay, you know, my rent was raised, I can't afford it, you know, I have to move. That could be the death card, where things are coming up that's reinforcing the fact that you need to make a change, that there is no going back. Whatever has happened has happened. Now you have to move forward. And, you know, given the opportunity, it looks like you'll either consider traveling or you'll consider relocating, and like somehow that will positively kind of help your living situation. So if you're looking for somewhere else to go, or you're thinking about traveling places to suss it out, consider doing that, because that can help you with that kind of transition. Good luck, Virgo. We've got Libra and Libra rising. You'll be doing this full moon in Sagittarius in your natal 3rd house. For you, Libra, this is all about communication, education, social media, short distance trips, things with cars, siblings, and learning as well. So you may feel compelled to share your ideas and beliefs with others, leading to lively discussions and debates, okay? 3rd house is a great time with a full moon to launch a website. If you want to put out a new product into the world, if you want to, you know, make a really significant post about your thoughts or about your business. This is a time where something can be changing about a vehicle as well. So keep that in mind. I see a lot of full moons in the 3rd house where it's like, okay, time to like trade up, or, you know, now I'm going to go and buy something. There can be big happenings going on with aunts, uncles, cousins, or siblings as well. And this is a time that I would really pay attention to what you're thinking about and what you're saying. Sagittarius natally sextiles you, so it's kind of friendly with your chart. And you're actually really reaping the benefit if you're an early degree Libra rising, I would say 0 to 4 degrees of a grand air trine. Okay, so we've got the sun in your 9th house of beliefs and foreign travel and education. Pluto transforming the way that you create and also your love life. And it's trining your ascendant. Now, at the time of the full moon, we're going to see Venus conjunct Jupiter at 29 degrees of Taurus, and that's going to be taking place in your 8th house of other people's resources. It's on the cusp of your 9th house. So likely during the time of the full moon, you might get a phone call, you might get an email, you might, you know, have something come in the mail that's like relating to taxes, relating to money owed, debt, loans. You may get an email that your credit card, you know, like your limit has been raised and you suddenly have more availability. You may have somebody who is very generous with you, or somebody who has a conversation with you about money they want to share with you, or about something they want to give you. Good news all around for you. The Venus-Jupiter conjunction is extra sweet. I do think that because Venus rules also other people's money, there can be lots of like lively conversations you can have with a partner or another person about investments, or also like developing more wealth. And you might be talking about that or learning about that. Watch out for like increased auto insurance though. It does seem like a possibility here. I could see some Libras having a shock when they get an email or something about insurance rates going up. All right, let's take a look. The card that I got for you is the Three of Coins. That's kind of cool because it's the third house. So team effort, working together, developing a skill. I could see this as like, you know, finally completing a course, or finally completing a book and like learning a new skill. Learning a new language and feeling like you can actually like use it now, you know? Three of Coins is always about being able to build something together. So I think with like the sun ruling other people, I think that this can be about like traveling or taking courses or doing some kind of group work with other people. You know, there's definitely going to be some shift or transformation about your beliefs or your philosophy. So that can already be kind of brewing prior to the Venus-Jupiter conjunction coming into your 9th house. But team effort seems to be the theme here. So if there's something that arises with siblings or neighbors with this full moon, it's like, okay, how can we work together? How can we kind of brainstorm? What do we need to do to be able to better help each other? Communication is key when you have a full moon in the 3rd house. Good luck, Libra. We've got Scorpio and Scorpio rising. You'll be doing a full moon in Sagittarius in your natal 2nd house. All right, Scorpio, so a full moon in the 2nd house is financial matters, okay? Because the 2nd house is your money, your resources, your banking, your possessions. 8th house is other people's resources. So debts, loans, taxes, your partner's money, things that deal with like, you know, debt and all of that. That's going to be the 8th house. So when you have a full moon in the 2nd, there is some like big news in regards to money. It can be that financial matters come to a head under this full moon. You can be reevaluating your values and your priorities regarding money and possessions, perhaps seeking more freedom and expansion in this area. So money is on your mind. That is a thing, right? But it can mean that there's more money coming in actually, or that people want something that you have to offer or some kind of service. I say that because Jupiter rules this moon, and Jupiter is going to be in your 7th house of Taurus, which is your partnership house conjunct Venus. So this means people are going to be very generous with you, my Scorpios and Scorpio risings. It might mean that you meet somebody and they show up to take you out to dinner and they bring you flowers and chocolate, like very Jupiter Venus. It may mean that you have this abundance of new clients that come in if you have a client-based business. It might mean also that people are really interested in working with you or collaborating with you. It may also mean that some of the financial, you know, stuff that's coming up at the time of the full moon is as a result of expenditures from a partner or a relationship. So I think of like Jupiter Venus in the 7th. Is your partner spending more money? Are they indulging in things more? Are they, you know, shopping more? Are they eating more? Is there something that's going on where there's more financial stuff that's coming up because of what's going on with you and a partner? Now, for the most part, Venus meeting Jupiter means people are going to be more generous with you. But I could see this being a situation where there's a conversation with a partner about money that's being spent. That's definitely possible with this placement. I really like the 2nd house in a sense of feeling wanted or feeling valued. So you may have with certain partners then being like, I really value you. I want you to know like how much I love you. And they can be very generous with how they're communicating and what they're telling you, or actually like giving you things. So watch for that, Scorpio. The card that you get is the Hanged Man. So I could see like for Scorpio risings being in this situation where it's like, is this too good to be true? Like, is this real? Like, is this really happening? Like, can I trust this person? Like, why are they being so nice to me? Or why is this person being so generous? Or is like, how is this possible? Like, I could have never imagined that, you know, somebody would give me money to fund my business, or that, you know, somebody would give me something out of the blue. Keep in mind the sun is in your 8th house, so other people are going to be more generous with you. You may see this within a couple days of the full moon, especially as Jupiter and Venus are getting ready to move into your 8th house. Lots of Scorpio and Scorpio risings are going to make more money this year. They're going to grow their income, or they're going to merge their income with a partner. Because planets going in the 8th house represents togetherness. Maybe you move your, bank accounts around to something that has a higher interest rate that it pays you for savings. Maybe it means that your partner says, hey, let's make this investment together, or I want to put you in connection with my savings, or with my 401k. There's going to be some kind of growth, right? So I really feel like you're best waiting and watching. Like, you don't need to ask for anything, just wait for some of this stuff to show up. And don't be too hesitant when it arrives, because the lesson that you're going to be learning is to receive. Good luck, Scorpio. We've got Sag and Sag rising. This is your full moon, Sagittarius. I hope it's a good one for you. 0 to 4 degrees. If you have any planets there, that means that this is going to be more significant and impactful for you. You will be having a full moon in your 1st house. So this is going to be personal completion and fulfillment. So there's going to be a huge focus on your body, your appearance. It's going to be all about your personal beliefs. You will likely feel a renewed sense of adventure and desire to explore new ideas and ways of thinking about yourself. I love this full moon for you guys. I love that it opposes Jupiter and Venus coming into your 7th house. So it's basically saying, I'm spending a little me time, or I'm focusing on my needs, or I'm really kind of building myself up, and like I'm really self-focused right now. And it can have almost this like magnetic effect where it can bring other people in. So if you're single, that self-development that you're doing is going to like put a spotlight on you, and people are going to see you, right? If you're in a relationship, it can be a time where, you're taking not time away from someone else, but you're just more self-focused, I guess I should say. Obviously the full moon in the 1st house can be big appearance changes, changing hair, changing your style, stuff with your cosmetics. It can be seeing results after working hard on yourself for the last 6 months. But the ruler is actually going to be in your 6th house. So this is about work, responsibility, routine, health. Venus will be there as well. So this tells me that you've been working really hard to make some really significant changes in your work or your habits or your routine. It can mean that there is some significant changes going on in your office space. You could be moving offices, expanding offices. You could be working with new people. You're realizing that your health is becoming better because you're taking time to kind of rest and recuperate and not be like go, go, go 24/7. The Venus-Jupiter conjunction can also bring in for you a new pet, a new friend, or it can be bringing you some new kind of health practitioner, or somebody who's helping you perfect something about your beauty or your appearance or your routines. You could have like a new hairstylist, you could have a new beautician that comes in, a new manicurist, something like that. Somebody helps you with your style. If you're looking to find a new vet, you can find that here as well, especially with Mercury being in your 6th house. But I feel like this is about healthier habits and routine, and also integrating more downtime for creativity, for beauty, for rest, and like how that's really, really positively making some significant changes to who you are as a person overall. Okay? Let's take a look. The card that I get is the King of Swords. So this can be about a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius that comes into your life, because this is an air element. So it can be an indication that you're getting ready to meet someone if you're single. If not, it can be about speaking up, telling people what you think, putting it out there, sharing your ideas, owning your beliefs, and also doing it in a way that is about helping other people. The 6th house is about services. So it's like, I have what you need, like, how can I help you? Or, I'm the right person for the job. Let me tell you why. Or this is what I did. This is how you do it. This conjunction is very beneficial for you, because I feel like people are going to be coming to you for your expertise or for your advice. And you're going to be able to kind of help other people kind of find their way through some of their issues. And it's going to make you feel appreciated and also put you in the spotlight. Watch for opportunities to communicate, write, share, or really own some sense of ideas out in the world, because I think it could be all eyes on you. Good luck, Sag. We have Capricorn and Capricorn rising. You will be doing the full moon in Sagittarius in your natal 12th house. Now for you guys, this is a little bit more secluded. This is about privacy, okay? The 12th house is kind of hidden. It's our subconscious, it's our dreams, it's behind the scenes, our hidden talents. Some would even say there's some kind of connection to completions or karma here. Now, a full moon in Capricorn, a full moon in Sag for Capricorn in your 12th house brings about a deep sense of spiritual awakening or introspection. You may be drawn to explore your innermost beliefs and seek out solitude and reflection. Find a comfortable space, a good book, somewhere quiet where you can kind of be on your own. Sagittarius in the 12th house can be great for exploring other cultures or spiritual practices, meditation. Likely you may feel with a full moon in your 12th house, your sleep patterns are a little wonky. So some of you guys are either jet lagged or others are going to just be having issues, staying asleep or getting to sleep. But the 12th house is like about this completion of whatever's been stirring in the subconscious. Now, what's interesting is at the time of this full moon, Jupiter will be in your 5th house of creativity, romance, joy, playtime, children, and it'll be conjunct Venus. So I really feel like this is about taking time to be off duty, not working, and being like, where can I have more time for imagination and creativity? Where can I have my own little place where I can be drawing or listening to music or manifesting things or just like working on things that I really enjoy and kind of getting lost in that process. Venus does deal with your career and your reputation, and I really feel like you're dreaming up ideas or coming up with things revolving around the changes that you want to be making within yourself, or maybe you have ideas for new hobbies or for new businesses that can be coming up. Truth be told, you can feel a little squirrely during a full moon in this house. So I would just recommend laying low, especially because a full moon here sometimes can bring about some kind of like emotional or psychological stress. 12th house is healing centers, so it can be like hospitals and things relating to mental health. So you want to watch out for this as well. But I really feel like your energy is best used being creative and imaginative and like taking a little bit of time to really do some one-on-one with your inner child. And also it can be super romantic behind the scenes. There can be something brewing romantic between you and another person that is very beautiful, but also like very private. Let's take a look. The card that I got for you is the Star card, which is interesting because the Star card's connected to Aquarius, and this particular full moon trines Pluto. So I think with like the sun in your 6th house of like work, health, and habits, and the trine to Pluto can mean that there is some financial wishes that are being fulfilled. There can be some new job opportunities that are being fulfilled. There can be new health things that are being completed where you're feeling healthier and happier. I think you're going to see this anyway with Jupiter going into your 6th house. So it might mean that you're kind of getting a break if you have been working too much or if you've been dealing with some health issues. The 6th house is about habits and routine and the impact that that has on us emotionally. So for some of you guys, you might just realize, I just need to sleep more or I need more downtime. And that's the key to actually feeling better. So this is saying wishes are going to be granted, they're going to be fulfilled. And this is also about support coming from people outside of you. Good luck, Capricorn. We've got Aquarius and Aquarius rising. You guys are going to be doing the full moon in Sagittarius in your natal 11th house. The 11th house is about friends, networks, communities, it's parties, gatherings, celebrations. It's a really great place to have a full moon. So friendships and social connections will be highlighted now. You may be seeking out like-minded individuals who share your beliefs and ideas, leading to new exciting collaborations. If you're invited to a party, go. If your friends call you up and say, hey, let's go and do something together, go. If there is a family reunion or gathering or get together, or if you're being asked to host people in your home, I recommend doing it. Here's why. The 11th house is about wish fulfillment, but it's ruled by Jupiter. And you have Jupiter that's hanging out in your 4th house. Now, recently, you had Jupiter conjunct Uranus, which means that there are some changes that are going on the home front. Some of you guys are moving, other people are building homes or compounds, other people are still looking for their future space. But it does look like whatever has happened here, where there has been some changes on the home front, friends are coming in to help you. And they're saying, well, what do you need? How can we help? Or people are saying, hey, we'll bring the party to you. or let's get the family together. Let's all, you know, have a get together. Let's celebrate this thing. So it's definitely positive because it talks about some kind of goal fulfillment or wish fulfillment that's going to be taking place within your home that's going to allow you to have time with other people. It's going to allow you to make new friends. It's going to allow you to expand in your social networks. And I'm really excited for this for you, especially because, you know, the Sun and Venus are trining Pluto in your sign. It means you're changing, things are changing, but you're kind of learning to lean more into having fun, being creative, cutting loose, having a good time. This full moon may be the first full moon that sparks a whole series of social events and other things that you're going to be doing throughout this year, having Jupiter move into your 5th house. For some of you guys, it's just going to be gatherings and get-togethers, going to a local bar. For others, it's going to be birthday parties for your kids and hanging out with younger people. But I see it being actually really, really positive for you guys, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. So let's take a look at what the cards say for you, Aquarius. The card that I get is the King of Wands. All right, lots of kings. King of Wands. So watch for an Aries, a Leo, or a Sag that comes through. Sometimes full moons can actually bring people with those placements in. But this is about maybe being like party coordinator. Maybe it's about, and I could see that with Jupiter and Venus being conjunct still, and Uranus being there. This is about taking action, being bold, being creative. Maybe it means that you're like, hey, I bought a new house and like, you know, I'm needing to paint it. Like, who wants to come over and I'll get like beer and pizza and we can do that. It's like being creative, right? In ways that you can have fun and get the things done that you need to get done. This can also mean that you're feeling more spirited or entrepreneurial or more creative or, you know, more passionate about things. Or male family members, friends, or partners can be coming in and helping you do these things as well. Certainly with, you know, the sun being in opposition to the moon, the sun rules relationships, it can mean that you're building outside of your relationships just with your personal one-on-one partner. You're wanting to have time with other people as well, or you're wanting to kind of connect with other people outside of, you know, like a romantic, you know, connection. Building more on platonic relationships. So I think you're going to enjoy this. And like, honestly, you know, with Jupiter coming into your 5th house, it is very possible and very likely that if you're single, you could meet someone that can be sparking up the opportunity to start dating more and like meeting others. So this can be a good indication for that. Good luck, Aquarius. And we have Pisces and Pisces rising. You guys are going to be doing this full moon in Sagittarius in your natal 10th house. If you happen to have a Pisces rising 0 to 4 degrees, you're going to be feeling the square to your sun, moon, or rising. So just a heads up. But a full moon in the 10th house is pretty positive. And what it's doing is it's putting career matters out in the spotlight. Okay, so the 10th house full moon can be about completions of a job, you know, reevaluating your goals and your ambitions, perhaps feeling a strong desire for more freedom and independence in your professional life. But it can also be a time where you're like, look at the job that I have that I'm doing now. Or you might get a call back from a job that you got. Maybe you're going to be giving a presentation at work. Maybe it's an opportunity for you to like launch a website or a business and be putting it out there on social media. Now, if you're not working and you're retired, this can be more about your responsibility, what you're doing outside of work. It can be about your role in society and what you want your reputation to be. But likely there are big changes happening either with your status, like I'm married or I'm single, or it's complicated, or big changes with your career when you have a full moon in this sign. Now, one thing that's really interesting that I will say is that the full moon's playing nicely with planets in your 2nd house. So you're motivated to make money, you're motivated to get out there and work. So I see it being a positive thing for you. That's making you feel more inspired to really put yourself out there and be seen and separate yourself and be optimistic that you're better than the rest, right? That's really what you're focusing on. And when we have this full moon, Jupiter is the ruler, and it's also your co-ruler as well. So with Venus and Jupiter meeting in your 3rd house, this is the best time to sign a business contract. This is the best time to launch a new website, a podcast, a YouTube channel. It's the best time to launch a blog or, you know, put something out there and tell people, you know, what you're doing and what you have to say, because you're going to get maximum visibility at this time. So big announcements, drops, expansions, all of this stuff is wonderful during the time of this particular full moon. And I really think that this is going to be a time where you're feeling really optimistic about what it is that you're doing and sharing this with other people, about how excited you are about what you're learning and what you're changing and, you know, what you're sharing with the world. And a lot of people are going to possibly be also traveling for work. That can also be something that can happen with this. You might have to kind of go out of town briefly, or, you know, you get called to go to the other side of town or something like that. There could be some like errands and running around that can come up here. But I definitely see it being extremely positive for you guys in terms of your career and reputation. You also got the Wheel of Fortune. Cool. Or what was it? The other one? It was the World. Okay, so another completion. This is the card I would want to pull for this full moon. Okay, for a Sagittarius full moon, I would want to see the Wheel of Fortune, because that's kind of indicating like, yes, fortune is in your favor. So this is one of the cards that's associated with Sagittarius. This is about the wheel turning and an opportunity that's presenting itself. That's kind of like fate or karma kind of intervening. So if there was a time for some significant breakthrough with your career or your reputation or your status, if there was a time to make a big announcement, if there's something that was meant to happen, this is the card that would come up. So it's saying like everything's going according to plan. I do see it being really positive for you. It may involve travel. It may also involve the opportunity to try new things. Like when I think of the Wheel of Fortune, it's like something pops up and you're like, oh, I've never been there before, but like, let's give it a try. Or I don't think I'm gonna get the job, but I'm gonna apply anyway. And like, you may be shocked with some of the things that actually manifest for you that you never thought were possible. Really great reading for you, Pisces. You'll have to let me know how this one plays out for you. Well, guys, I hope that was helpful in giving you all the insight on this full moon in Sagittarius. Like I said, it's like chef's kiss astrology, that Venus-Jupiter conjunction. You guys are gonna have to come back and let me know in the comments what happened for you. But let me know, were you born on a full moon in Sag? Are you having this full moon on any personal planets? What do you anticipate is going to be happening? And do you guys think it's as sweet as I do? Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. It really helps the algorithm with the channel and helps the channel grow. You guys can catch me back here tomorrow. I'm going to be doing live tarot readings on this, topic. So we will be talking all about what's going to be going on in the cosmos. And also, if you guys want to ask questions about this full moon, we can. Next week, I'll be doing astrology on it, so you can do that as well. But you can catch me here at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Check the link in my community tab where you guys can sign up early for a reading. And for my website, check out the link down there in the description, beyondtheveiltarot.com. I teach tarot and astrology. I also have personal one-on-one sessions that you guys can check out. I am now booking in the month of August. So enjoy this full moon. Happy manifesting. I hope it's a good one for you, and I'll catch you guys all back here next time. Take care.